Okay. Again, anak, allow me to record our discussion for today about your social studies. So this is about citizenship. So let me first just give you an educational video that you need to watch. You can also take note of it. So this is just about how Filipino citizenship is. Okay, so may naririnig ka, anak?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You can also take note, ha?
Hey everyone! Welcome back to our channel. For this episode, we are going to learn the fourth article of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, which is all about citizenship. Let's begin by defining the word citizenship. It is a legal relationship between a person and a country. If you are a citizen of a country, you have the right to live there, work, vote, and pay taxes. Moving on to our fan fact for this episode. Did you know that there is a difference between citizenship and nationality? If you are not aware of this, listen carefully. Nationality is simply the country where you came from. For example, Jessie is from the Philippines, so she is considered as a Filipino. It is also important to take note that a person can be a national of one country, but she can also hold citizenship of another country. For example, Katniss was born in the Philippines, but her Filipino parents decided to live in the United States for better opportunities. From this example, we can say that Katniss has a Filipino nationality, but she is also a US citizen, for she is living in the United States and also a legal citizen of that. Now let's discuss the modes in acquiring citizenship. There are two recognized forms in acquiring citizenship: by birth and naturalization. By birth is further subdivided into two ways. First is what we call ius soli. It is a Latin term which means law of the soil. This is a rule that the citizenship of a child is determined by the place of birth. The second one is what we call ius sanguinis. It is a Latin term which means the law of blood. This is a rule that the citizenship is determined by blood relations. The second form of acquiring citizenship is through naturalization. I will discuss this topic later. For now, let's move on to the kinds of Filipino citizens under the Constitution. First, those who are citizens of the Philippines at the time of the adoption of this Constitution. Second, the natural-born citizens. These are the citizens of the Philippines from birth without having to perform any act to acquire or perfect their Philippine citizenship. Now let's answer the question, how can you be a natural-born Filipino citizen? Philippine nationality law is based upon ius sanguinis. Generally, if you are born to at least one parent who is a Filipino citizen at the time of your birth, you are born with a Philippine citizenship. Let's take a look at these examples. First, Zia's mom is a Filipino, and her dad is an American. Is she a natural-born Filipino? You have 5 seconds to answer the question.
Is Zia a natural-born Filipino citizen according to the um educational video that you watch? Her mom is a Filipino while her dad is a American. Is she a natural-born Filipino citizen? Yes or no?
Um.
'Di ba there are two kinds of way for us to know if certain people is a Filipino citizen. First is yung Yus Soli and the next one is yung Yus Sangiles. So for this one, according to this image, Zia is has a Filipino mom and has an American dad. So is she a natural born Filipino citizen? Yes or no?
Mm, yeah.
Okay, let's
Your time
see.
starts now. Time's up. The answer is a very big
Yes.
yes. Remember the principle of Ius Sanguinis. If one of your parents is a Filipino, then you are also a natural-born Filipino. Let's move on to our second example. Let's meet Kay. She is an illegitimate child of her Filipino father. Can she be considered as a natural-born Filipino? I will give you another 5 seconds to answer the question.
Is she a natural-born Filipino citizen if she is an illegitimate child of her father? Yes or no?
Mm,
Yes or no? That
mm,
is, what do you think? If she's an illegitimate child of her Filipino father, is she a Filipino citizen? Yes or no?
yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Time's up. The answer is yes. Take note of this. A child born of a Filipino father or Filipino mother, whether the child is legitimate or illegitimate, is still a natural-born Filipino. For our last example, let's call Laika. She was born in America, but her parents are Filipinos. Is she a natural-born Filipino? I will give you another 5 seconds.
Is she a natural-born Filipino citizen? Her two parents, her father, her mother, is a Filipino. Is she a Filipino natural? Ay, natural. Is she a natural-born Filipino? Yes or no? Okay, let's
To
see.
answer the question. Time's up. The answer is yes. If the child is born in another country, but her parents are Filipinos, she will still be considered as a natural-born Filipino. In the case of Laika, she is qualified for dual citizenship. I will discuss this topic later. The third kind of citizens under the 1987 Philippine Constitution are the citizens through election. These are the people born before January 17, 1973 of Filipino mothers who elect Philippine citizenship upon reaching the age of majority. Under the 1935 Constitution, the child whose mother was married to a foreigner was born an alien and remains an alien until he elects Philippine citizenship after reaching the age of majority. This rule was changed. Under the 1987 Philippine Constitution, a Filipina does not lose her citizenship by her marriage to an alien. Last are the naturalized citizens. Aliens or foreigners can become Filipino citizens through naturalization, or the process of allowing a foreigner who lives in one country to become a citizen of another country. However, they must first renounce their original citizenship before they become naturalized Filipinos. There are 3 ways in order for aliens to become naturalized citizens of the country. First is the direct naturalization. This is further subdivided into 3 ways: administrative naturalization, judicial naturalization, and direct act of the Congress. Let's discuss administrative naturalization. This applies to native-born aliens who lived in the Philippines all their lives, who never saw any country and thought they were Filipinos. This follows Republic Act 9139, or the Administrative Naturalization Law of 2000. Here are the qualifications. First, must be at least 18 years old. Second, must be born and have lived in the Philippines. Third, must have good moral character and must believe in the Constitution. Fourth, must own a real estate in the Philippines for not less than 5,000 pesos or have some lucrative trade, profession, and lawful occupation. Fifth, must be able to speak and write in any Filipino dialect. Last, the minor children of school age must be enrolled in the schools prescribed by the law. The second way is the judicial naturalization. If a foreigner is not qualified for administrative naturalization, then he will have to go through judicial naturalization, which follows Commonwealth Act 473 or the revised naturalization law. Here are the qualifications. First, must be at least 21 years old at the hearing of the petition. Second, must reside in the Philippines for at least 10 years. Third, must have good moral character and must believe in the Constitution. Fourth, must own a real estate in the Philippines for not less than 5,000 pesos or have some lucrative trade, profession, and lawful occupations. Fifth, must be able to speak and write in English or Spanish and any one of the principal Philippine languages. Last, the minor children of school age must be enrolled in the schools prescribed by the law. The last way, under direct naturalization, is through a direct act of the Congress. Legislative naturalization is quite rare, and this applies only for aliens who have made outstanding contributions to the country. The second way of becoming a naturalized citizen is through derivative naturalization. Derivative citizenship is defined as obtaining one's citizenship from or through another person. You can be any of the following: wife of naturalized husband, alien wife of a natural-born citizen, or a minor children of naturalized parents. It is also important to take note that naturalized citizens cannot enjoy the following. First, dual citizenship. Second, run in any political position. Let's move on to the effects of marriage to a foreigner. Citizens of the Philippines who marry aliens shall retain their citizenship unless they renounce it. Now let's talk about the loss of citizenship. Filipino citizenship is not forever. Filipinos may lose citizenship voluntarily and involuntarily. First, it's voluntarily, or also called as expatriation. It is a process of leaving your country and living in a new one. It may be through naturalization in a foreign country, renunciation of citizenship, subscribing to an oath of allegiance to support the Constitution or the laws of a foreign country. The second one is involuntarily. These are the following ways where you can involuntarily lose your Filipino citizenship. First, cancellation of certificate of naturalization by the court. And second, if you are a deserter of the Philippine Armed Forces. Next, reacquisition of lost Philippine citizenship. Citizenship may be reacquired. Here are the several ways of reacquiring citizenship. First, naturalization. Second, direct act of the Congress. Third, repatriation, or the recovery of original citizenship. This is made by making an allegiance to the Republic of the Philippines. For our last topic, let's talk about dual citizenship versus dual allegiance. Many people are confused between dual citizenship and dual allegiance. Let's define these two terms. Dual citizenship means you are a citizen of two countries at the same time. For example, a child born in the United States with Filipino parents can have a dual citizenship because United States follows Jus Soli, and his parents are also Filipinos, where Jus Sanguinis is followed. The child is legally both a Filipino and an American. On the other hand, dual allegiance refers to the situation in which a person simultaneously owes loyalty to two or more states. What the Constitution prohibits is dual allegiance, not dual citizenship. That's all for this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel because more incredible videos are on the way. Also, if you have friends, share this video.
Okay. So let us discuss them, anak, yung ating um lesson for that. So, what have you learned regarding the video tutorial po? Any information regarding the video tutorial or the educational video that you watch? Okay. So, this video, educational video discusses about Filipino citizenship. So when we say citizenship, it is a membership of a person in a political community where he or she enjoys the rights inherent to the member of the said community. So citizenship imposes the duty of allegiance to the country and to the obligation to support its government. So it's like this. Parang if you have a pure gold, if you go to the pure gold and you have a pure gold card, you're a member of that pure gold. Okay, so this citizenship is just it's a membership of a person to a political country like the Philippines. So there is a article regarding this Filipino citizenship, which is in Article 4 of 1987 Constitution, like in the video lesson that were discussed. So this states that first, all citizens in the Philippines at the adaptation of 1987 Constitution is considered as a Filipino citizen. Next, those whose mother and fathers are Filipino. So those are this is what we call as jus sanguinis. Next one is those whose mother and father are citizens of the Philippines. Next one is those who were born before January 17 of 1937, which has a Filipino mother and who elect the Philippine citizenship among the age of the majority. And then the last one is those who are naturalized in the accordance of law. So for example, yung katulad ng sinabi kanina in our video um, lesson. So according to that, for example, you are a American, okay? And then you are born here in the Philippines. You've never been in the America. So it means to say that by naturalization, you can be a Filipino citizen. So how do we acquire Philippine citizenship? So first is by birth. So it's either the jus sanguinis and then the jus solis. So what's the difference between the two? When we say jus sanguinis, that is the principle that follows the child's blood relationship. So it means to say that if one of his or her parent is a Filipino citizen, as Filipino citizen, automatically that she or he will become, the child will become a Filipino citizen. For example, I am a Filipino citizen and then I marry an American citizen. And then if we got a child, that child will now become a legal Filipino citizen. So that is what we call as the jus sanguinis. Okay? O kaya naman, if I am a Filipina and then I married a Filipino and then we were technically live already in the America, so our child is still considered as a Filipino citizen because both of us, both of her parents or his parent is a Filipino citizen, though we were moved to America. So next one is the jus solis. So this determines the child's citizenship by the place of his or her birth. So regardless of the parent's citizenship. So in America, anak, for example, you are a Filipino citizen and then your husband is a Filipino citizen, but your child were born in the America. So technically, that child will now become a American citizen plus a Filipino citizen. So because in America, they use the jus solis, which is born in their soil, and then in our country, we use the jus sanguinis. It means to say that if one of your parent is a Filipino citizen, technically your child will now become a Filipino citizen. Next one, that is by birth. Next one is by naturalization. So in this method, a foreigner goes through different kinds of three processes. It's either one of the three processes na pwede niyang um, i-require sa kanya in the law. So, first, he or she can renounce her original citizenship. So for example, um, and one of its criteria is that that person should be 20 years old on the day of the hearing, has a good moral character, has pledged loyalty to the Constitution, meron daw siyang, he or she owns real estate property not less than 5,000 pesos. He is able to speak English or one of the major dialects in the Philippines. For example, the Tagalog, the Bisaya language, and so on. Or if he or she resided in the Philippines for around 10 consecutive years already, or if that person marry a Filipino, she was or he was born in the Philippines, he has held public office in the Philippines, o kaya naman he taught in a public or private school for Filipinos for 2 years and so on. So those are some of the ways for us to have a Filipino citizenship. Again, there are two: by birth or by naturalization. Next one, how do we lose our citizenship? It can be voluntary or involuntary. So voluntary if you renounce your own citizenship. Or kaya naman you were joined to the armed forces of the other country. So that is renouncing also of your citizenship. Next one is involuntary. It means to say that a person may lose his or her citizenship voluntarily through when his or her certificate of naturalization is cancelled, when the person is declared by the competent authority to be deserted of the armed forces in the Philippines, like for example, he's a spy or she's a spy. Next one is when the male or female Filipino marries a foreigner by his or her act of omission or negligence. So we can also, if we can lose our citizenship, we can also reacquisite our citizenship. First is for repatriation and next is for naturalization. So what's the importance between this one? First, as a citizen, you can accept the traditions, the beliefs, and also the customs and struggles of a country which you belong. So it is there are I think eight or more kinds of rights that we have. First is the right of suffrage, right to hold a public office, the right to receive protection from the state while abroad. So those are the following importance of having a Filipino citizenship. So you will be protected. Okay, so let's have this one and answer our um activity for this day.
Hello, bye-bye.
Okay. So, okay. So these are the summary of our discussion, anak. The definition of a citizenship is a membership of a political community who were belong to a Filipino citizen. If that citizen at the time of constitution adaptation, his or her mother is a Filipino citizen, or if that person born in January 17, 1973 and has a Filipino mother who later elected to the Philippine citizenship, or those who were naturalized according to the law. So, how citizenship is acquired by two, by birth or by naturalization. In by birth, we have two, the jus sanguinis or by blood, the jus solis, which is by soil. Next one is for naturalization, which there are a lot of process to do. Next one is for the loss of citizenship. It can be voluntary or expatriation, or it can also be involuntary. And then we can also reacquisition of our citizenship. So that is through repatriation or naturalization. And these are some of the rights that we have. Now, can you please read number one?
Which best defines citizenship under the 1987 Philippine Constitution?
Okay, can you please answer number one? Oh, which best defines citizenship under the 1987 Philippine Constitution? Which best defines citizenship? Is it A, a temporary permit to reside in the country? B, this is a membership in a political community with rights and duties. C, this is a privilege granted only by the president. Or D, it is just a status based on solely on birthplace. Okay, very good. So in number one, anak, when we say citizenship, this is a legal status that identifies a person as a member of the state or the granting rights and imposing duties like obeying laws. How about for number two? Which principle primarily governs Philippine citizenship by birth? Is it the jus solis, the right of soil? Is it the jus sanguinis, the right of blood? Is it the jus civil right? Or is it the jus gentum, or the law of nations? Okay, very good. So for number two, the Philippine primarily follows the jus sanguinis. So it means to say that our citizenship is acquired through Filipino parentage. So if one of your parent is a Filipino citizen, automatically you will become a Filipino citizen. Okay, next one, number three, which is not recognized mode of acquiring Philippine citizenship?
Um,
Is it A, by birth or Filipino parents? Is it B, by naturalization under the law? Is it C, by marriage to Filipino citizen alone? Or is it D, by election of citizenship when applicable?
um, not recognized.
Okay, Atria, let's have first a 3 minutes break. We'll continue answering this worksheet. Okay, so bye for now.